we've been following this story. The video came out earlier in the week. That was taken back in the earlier part of May, I believe.
April.
And it was taken in April when the fire department went through. We found out from the district attorney that they were actually investigating, and but the facility looked very, very it looked dirty.
Yeah,
and probably not the best position for these animals. We also learned that it looks like Kim Strong was bringing up dogs from downstate. There's some affiliation, whether or not she was paid to bring these dogs up here. But I truly believe her intentions were in the right place. I just don't know how she could handle 118 dogs, and it didn't seem like you'd have enough volunteers. Earlier this morning, we spoke to Sal Piazza, a dog trainer in the area, who said it probably would take, to handle 100 dogs, it would probably take 50 or more volunteers.
Yeah, 2 dogs to a person.
You'd need a staff. And Sal's on the line right now. You seem unbelievably disgusted by this facility.
Bill, it's a pattern. This is what gets me with all the people, the dog lovers around here. This is a pattern for Kim Strong. It's not just a one-time thing. This is 3 times.
Hold on. I want to dump that.
Yeah.
Did you get that?
I got it.
I don't want to get down that road, and I know I've had that paperwork delivered, but I do not want to get down that road. Okay.
There's a bunch of paperwork about everything.
I get that, but I don't want to get down that road. Let's just stay focused on what we're talking about. So you feel this is a pattern? She had a location over on Oriskany Boulevard.
It's a pattern. She's a slob. This has nothing to do with, oh, she's got a good heart. Oh my God, what a nice person! Look what she does for the dog. She doesn't do anything for the dog. It's no good. I mean, you look at the buildings. Like I said before, where are they putting the dogs?
And I honestly don't think that's fair, because I truly believe, and I want to say this, Sal. I think her heart is in the right place here. I just think she gets she has a tough time executing the game plan.
Come on, Bill. She's not like a 16-year-old person.
I get
She's
that. I do understand that.
And if she had a good heart, then what she would do is go work for a Humane Society somewhere or an SPCA and go help the dogs out that way. There's a beautiful rescue for pit bulls in Syracuse. I talked to both the owners there last year. Very nice people, very clean place. Let her go work for somebody like that instead of trying to do this for the 4th time, 5th time.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's disgusting. I mean, these dogs, come on, Bill. You know, the DA said about the video April 4th, he said, well, if it happened when we had the video, we might have been able to do something about it. So that means if you go to a store, you rob the store, 2 months later you see the perpetrator, and you say, you know, we want you to come with a question and we have a video on you. Oh, well, we can't use the video because it was 2 months earlier.
No. He was talking about in context of being able to access the building and having to, I forget the term that he used, but basically update your case.
You're talking about the crime, quote unquote, crime
right.
Would be a deplorable, dirty facility.
Abuse.
Right.
I can't believe people can't see this is animal abuse.
Well,
Sal, can I ask you a question?
Can I tell you, though, and then Jeff, there are plenty of people that see this as animal abuse. Trust me. I heard from many of them on Monday and Tuesday. Manansky.
How many dogs are you alone when you train and do the things that you do? How many dogs for a person to be able to successfully treat and care for these dogs, right? She's there with some volunteers. I've heard 118, then some were donated, some were taken. It's about 100, 110. How many do you have?
Dogs, not volunteers.
Right. Yeah, I don't mean volunteers, right? Dogs. How many dogs do you have for a single person or 5 to 10 people to be operating a facility caring for dogs? What's maximum capacity?
When I had my kennel on Aubrey Street, Bill, you remember that kennel that I had? I had 20 kennel runs. When I had the dogs 5 times a day, I cleaned those kennels. First in the morning when you first get there, then you clean them mid-morning, then you clean them mid-afternoon, then you clean them late afternoon, and before you go to bed or before you leave the kennels, you clean them 5 times a day. You can't just in the head. You have to have drainage systems. You have to be able to.
How many dogs did you have, Sal?
How many? It could have been 20. At 20 stalls.
Oh, 20 stalls. Okay.
I had 20 stalls.
All right, I want you to hold, Sal. We're going to come back to you here. Just you're going to be here. Just stay silent. John in Bridgewater wants to pipe in. John,
hey Bill,
you're on the radio.
Hey, real quick, can anybody confirm that April 4th video? Is it from Reels Lighting, or
No.
Broad Street?
No, that's from Broad Street.
Street.
Yep.
Another
it was
question.
the firefight.
Yep.
The marshals, the fire
Real quick,
marshals.
the SPA and other officials went there, right?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't find no violations, right?
That is
That's what we're told.
well.
They didn't
Where
find
did
anything
No,
illegal.
no, I don't think the SPA went on that. Listen, I don't think they went on that video day.
Correct.
They went later, and
Right.
and things had been cleaned up.
Okay, but the news this morning said that there was unsanitary conditions, but yet the SPA and other officials went there. They didn't find no violations.
Yeah.
So how come she didn't get? They should have put a lockout tag out on the door and told her to get out.
Well, and that is what it looks like the owner of the building is doing. The owner of the building is saying that there's an eviction process. I believe Kim has said, though, that she was moving anyway, that the building was closing. I don't necessarily know that I buy that story.
Saying why they didn't give her citations.
All right, John,
Okay,
thanks.
Bill. Yep.
Well,
Good question.
I think part of that's what the point the DA was making. You go one day at noon, and there might be a dog with three, whatever, gone to the bathroom 3 times. But then when somebody's there to clean it, you go in, and there's no
right.
Well, and
mess
just to clarify,
anywhere.
what John was saying, John heard the news story. Part of the news story this morning is there was the video of unsanitary that appeared to show unsanitary conditions. That was the April 4th video, or the April 6th video, and then later on May 16th is when the SPCA investigators were in there. So that was well over a month later.
And Sal, I want to ask you, the DA had said, and I believe this to be true, part of the problem here is that New York doesn't have the laws to, like, for instance, there is no part of the law that says that specifically there can't be defecation in the cage or in the crate.
Well, suitable shelter, okay? Food, water, medical care, suitable shelter.
Suitable
you call
shelter.
that suitable shelter?
Well, you're right.
Well, it depends
So
for
it's
how long.
subjective,
I mean,
right.
a dog has an accident sometimes. Again, it depends.
Well, an accident, yes. You got to understand, of course dogs are going to go in the crates if they're left in there. Is that the way for a dog to live?
No.
That maybe, okay, so even if you let them out an hour a day, 2 hours a day, for the rest, 23, 22 hours a day, you're going to leave them in a crate? Because you want to be the almighty saver of dogs? Some dogs can't be saved, number one. You can't change behavior with love. You have to change behavior with training. Also, when you look at this situation, it's not just a one-time thing. This is the landlord evicted her. What happens next time? Are they going to allow her to do this again? Where she moves into another place and nobody's watching, and all of a sudden the same thing happens, these poor dogs, and I don't care what breed it is, because I saw other breeds, they're not just pit bulls. I don't care what breed it is, but dogs should not be treated this way.
Yeah.
And I'm shocked. I'm seriously shocked at Kim, because she is this proponent of, I'm an animal advocate, and I've seen it on TV where she was going crazy over less things that people were doing with the dogs than this.
Okay, that's fair enough. I think that's fair. It's probably accurate.
It outrages me that people are not being outraged at this. And yes, there are some comments and this and that.
I feel that I have to tell you, I've been bombarded with phone calls on this. I don't see this as being something that people don't that people aren't reacting to. Here's Jeff with a comment. Jeff.
Hey, Bill. I look at it like this. It's not something we should be outraged about. It is something we should try to help solve. But, I mean, you've got Kim down there working, basically doing the same thing as Stephen Swans, but on a huge shoestring budget. She doesn't have the same resources that everybody else has to build stanchions, to build, she's got to do what she can. And she does it practically alone. By the time she goes in there and finishes cleaning out the kennels the first time in the morning, it's time to start the whole process over again.
But here's the problem with that, though. If you have a guy who is a roofer and he works really hard on your roof,
and he's good,
and he really works hard, but your roof is leaking, you're still going to be pretty angry. And you might say Joe the roofer should be Joe working somewhere else.
Take 25 jobs as opposed to 125.
Or maybe
jobs.
that's it. Maybe Joe the roofer took too many jobs.
Yeah.
So I think,
and that's where I think Kim is a great person in terms of what she's trying to accomplish, but she's overwhelmed because she's got too big a heart. If she's got 20 dogs and somebody comes along and says, "Hey, I've got these 5 dogs, I've got no room for them, can you take them?" Of course, she's going to say, "Yes, I'll take them," even if logistically she shouldn't.
All right, fair enough.
But, sometimes it's common sense, too. This is the third time she's been evicted from buildings. It's common sense. She knows she can't handle these dogs. She knows that it turned out the way it did 3 times in a row. She needs to stop. People need to stop her. She
as
can't
far as the
open
building
another
goes,
place.
too, from what I heard in the news reports, both at your station and other places, everybody in the building got an eviction notice or was told in advance that he was shutting down the building because of codes issues, not just service.
All right, and that might be possible because she is saying that. Jeff, I appreciate the call. I'm running short here. Let me bring Sue in Utica in. Sue, you're on the radio.
Hi, what I can't understand is, I agree with the last caller. She actually bit off more than she can chew. I mean, and I'm a dog lover, and why in God's name was she taking dogs from downstate? We have our own issues up here, and to just keep multiplying the number of animals you have.
Well, Sue, I think that's because that's who's giving her nonprofit status. Is this I'm forgetting the name?
Road to Home Rescue, which is either
they're a
downstate
organization
or Long Island.
Yeah. So part of the agreement might have been, hey, we'll take some of the dogs up here.
Paying her thousands of dollars. This woman gets thousands of dollars of donations. She gets it from this nonprofit stuff. Where is all the money going?
But we also don't know how much money she gets.
We don't know. And I keep hearing
the problem, Bill. Nobody knows anything.
Yeah, but that's not normally a public thing, Sal. I disagree with you on that. That's not a public thing. I keep hearing the number $3,000 to $4,000.
You're a nonprofit. I'm not sure about that though.
Yeah.
No, but that I'm sure it should be.
Okay, where's the money going? Regardless of how much it is, where is the money going? What about the training? Placing these dogs. How can you place a dog with this much behavioral problems? And when the dogs were going crazy, I remember you mentioned the first time I called about going crazy in the crates and barking and everything.
Yeah.
Some of those dogs, the body language, and don't tell me when her excuse was, well, it was stimulation when 15 people were coming in, stimulation. Yes, dog is going to bark, but there were some of those dogs that were very aggressive.
So you're able to read the body language. I was wondering if you can contact Dave Gordon. He's looking for somebody to read Tony Pacini's again.
He's looking for a second opinion.
Well, no. Bill, you remember. You have to learn how to read dogs' body language to own a dog. So
you totally do.
I know I'm an expert at that, and I could read the dog's body language and the eyes and the nervousness and then the aggression.
All right.
These dogs need an expert. And this is for the general public.
I want to ask one
more. It has to be closed. She can't open another place. She needs to go work with her beautiful big heart, go work for somebody else, and go to the Humane Society and help us. We don't need more dogs in this area.
Okay, Sue.
We have too many.
Sue, go ahead.
One more thing is that if she's nonprofit, she has to file her taxes with that certain code and everything.
Yeah, I think that by tacking on and utilizing the facility downstate, I think that's how she's getting that. It's basically their responsibility. So, all right, Sue, thank you.
Yep, bye-bye.
One more question for Sal. Jeff had said, when he was looking for a dog, and you can go to a nice facility anywhere, and most times when you go to these facilities, it's clean.
It's clean, yeah.
But dogs oftentimes are barking and barking and barking. It's like, you got 20 dogs or 30 dogs or more barking all at the same time. Is that, and some people have said that is horrible for the dogs, but that's allowed in all facilities, right?
You're not going to stop that barking. It's excitement.
Yeah.
Some of it's aggression. Some of it's protecting their space. But the problem with other shelters, even when they adopt out dogs, you have to do an evaluation of the temperament. It doesn't just happen overnight. You just can't do it 15 minutes in a little place.
Right.
It takes a month for a dog to realize, okay, where am I in this pack, this pecking order? That's when all the trouble starts. This is what I'm saying with Kim. Okay, so you say she's got a good heart.
I do.
Then please go to a different shelter. The Herkimer Humane Society could use help. The Utica Humane Society. Let her go to one of these facilities. Let her go to the one in Syracuse. Why do you have to keep on doing this, get evicted from people, from the buildings?
Right.
Why? It's just filthy. This is something, in my opinion, it's animal abuse.
All right, Sal.
It should not be done again.
I appreciate it, and you've offered a solution, which I think is positive. So thanks for taking the time and sticking your neck out once again there, Sal. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Bill.
All right. Sal Piazza. And we'll break.